to appear before the council. We ask that you go to my right and your left, and you'll have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address and the reason that you are here to appear before the council.
First item we had tabled from last week was Ms. Renetta Ward requested what we were going to do with triple pay, but she's not here, so I don't know what it's going. It was tabled last week.
Mayor Davis, you have anything on purchase stadium, the use of?
I'm pretty sure for the use.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Waters, she should be here. She's on vacation. What we're doing now, we started today, actually putting those renovation on Pritchard Stadium. And I understand there was concerns about where Biden was going to play. And I don't know where those concerns came from, but John had spoke with Dr. Crenshaw. The first notion I had with him, conversation I had with him, that it was supposed to be an issue where the superintendent had asked him to find somewhere to play. And as though Pritchard Stadium was not going to be able to hold the game. And I told him, I said, well, nobody said that. We were trying to see if they were going to play. If they want to play the stadium, we were going to try to do everything we can to do to accommodate. In the past, we have given them an opportunity to have the concession stand, the parking, and they always had that. And I was going to put that they had those things again. And I talked to Dr. Crenshaw. He had agreed that they would pay $1,500 a month. Well, a game, 6 games, $1,500 a game, which totals about $9,000. And that would offset what we would have to pay for the Martha Thomas building and for the safety building. And so we're still trying to get it corrected. I'm going to ask the council today if you all would appropriate from the Alabama Trust Fund approximately $20,000 to help with the renovations of the fish box. As we went over there today, I think you can get it done for that amount. We had some people over there today with some of the staff to look at it, and we can get that appropriated, we can get it where it's off and get it ready for the upcoming season. And I understand that I is supposed to be playing that now according to Dr. Crenshaw. So I didn't know where the confusion came in, but evidently that was something that somebody laid some foundation for.
It's spread it around like wildfire, man.
I was just going to get an understanding of what we're all with. And before the council appropriates anything, I think we do need to have that cost placed before us. It's $20,000. We need to know that that's exactly what we'll need. I don't have a problem. I mentioned last week in Ms. Ward that the conditions of the present box, whether it was the bottom floor or the top floor, it really wasn't in good condition for anyone. I know there's some electrical problems still there from the previous season, so it needs to be upgraded, but nothing should get in the way of them being able to at least go ahead on and secure those dates for the upcoming home games and any playoff games. But before the council takes any action on anything, certainly have the necessary documentation on what the cost would be, with the commitment from the council to move forward as it sees fit to establish the necessary funding for the upgrade. But I would like to get some clarification on exactly where we are with it.
And Mr. President, if I could, I don't see a problem with appropriating funding today, because if you're appropriating for the stadium, it will be in the stadium account for the stadium to have any kind of upgrade that it needs for that. So I don't see why it should be tabled or need any more information because it's not like, the money's gonna be spent on something else if it's appropriated for the state. And there are more issues in the press box with the state. I mean, you got, paint that will be needed to be bought for the field. You have a track that needs to be cleaned off. While they got that street sweeping, we talk about sweeping the track off. There's more things, but we feel like at a meeting with my staff, that with $20,000, we can get some of these things done. We got the room fund. But I mean, just to sit up and say we need more information as we continue to do, just to take or something, I think is don't make any sense. We need to move forward.
That's the wrong approach, and that you're missing about a mile. My point to you is, I think the council agreed to do what's necessary to make sure that they're able to play. $20,000, if that's what it is, that's fine. The blind to ask for it is not prudent. Okay, I don't think anyone wants to just take it. It may be 25, could be more or less. I don't know who your staff made that upset, who's qualified to even determine if that's what it would cost you. My point is, I'm not asking to delay it. I'm asking that we move forward with it, but I would like to see what the cost specifically would be. If they've already gone out there and determined, I would feel they would at least have some form of documentation and proof to justify the expenditure in that amount. And if it is from the stadium fund, if it's coming from the stadium fund, you mean the money's going to be transferred to the McDonald Stadium Fund? From the Alabama Trust Fund. How much is in the Alabama Trust Fund currently? Do we know this? Well, that's my point. That's right there. Before we start appropriating funds, we don't even know how much we got to move.
He can answer your question. That's your point. He can answer the question.
Well, it took too long for me, man.
You don't have to go through this money.
I figure you would know, Rick. How much? Okay, $250,000. We know we got more than enough to move. All right, we just need to get the documentation. But I was digress. I would like to know what the condition, where we are as far as moving forward with the agreement, whoever's going to be there.
Okay. I have today, this afternoon, I'm sure you probably didn't have a chance to look at the document, but I have sent a proposed agreement where the facilities use agreement, where the school board will have use of the stadium for the Flagler, the floor, and Chastain Middle School home games. And during those games, the schools will have the concessions, tickets, and parking. The rent will be, well, it won't be any rent. There's a mutual agreement that the city will use Martha Thomas Elementary School free of charge. And likewise, the school board then will use the stadium free of charge. That is my current, and that's what I've prepared. And that will be, it's in your boxes, so you'll be able to review it and determine if that's where you're going to go.
Now, run that by again, for what about concession parking and gate?
All this to school.
So the city of Pritchard will make anything off of it. But they were,
But you get Martha Thomas.
but they were willing to pay other vendors.
Only discuss, the only thing I know about is football. No other. There's no agreement as to anything except football.
Mayor, I do want to go on record saying that I support any kind of renovation to Pritchard Stadium. And I know the importance of appropriating funds for a particular project. But I want to remind this council and remind you that we appropriated $150,000 for renovation of Pritchard Stadium, but you came back and moved the money out of Pritchard Stadium and moved it to another project. So just appropriating the fund to a particular project really means nothing to me at this point.
Who did that?
Did you need me to remind you?
Who did?
You was a part of it. You were a part of it at this time. But nevertheless, I would like to suggest that we do get something in writing so we'll know exactly what's going to be fixed. We've had massive studies done in Pritchard Stadium. We've had engineers to go out in Pritchard Stadium and tell us exactly what we need to have done. So I want to go on record as saying I support fixing the stadium. But at the same time, I like to have a holistic approach as to exactly what we're going to do and when we're going to have these things fixed.
Well, one of the things is, you all always go on record talking about what you support.
Yes.
You never want to put the money where your mouth is.
I always do, but y'all move it. So we appropriated out of the trust fund and said we're going to take this $20,000 to fix the stadium. There's nothing to prevent you from moving it, like you moved 150,000 from the stadium and put it in another pocket. So that is what I wanted to go on record as saying. Thank you.
Yeah, unless there's any further discussion on it, I think the most effective thing for the council to do is to pass a motion authorizing the use of the stadium for Vice High School for the upcoming football season and any subsequent playoff games that may come afterwards. But the approval will have to accompany the necessary documentation allowing for the appropriation of the upgrades to the stadium has been recommended by the mayor's office. In addition to making sure that the funding source is available from the Alabama Trust Fund, but also too to have that agreement. I don't know how soon we're away from having the agreement that was verbalized tonight. Is that agreement going to be coming forth next week? If it does, then I think we should. The agreement that you spoke of, Councilor, is that going to be available next week for us to approve?
It's in your box there.
Okay, so but I don't think anyone has seen it on the council, so you probably have to come back next week with the necessary funding source, where it's coming from, attached to it, so that when the council approves it, we'll know what we're doing and where the funding is going. But I think the only thing the council can do at this point is agree to allow use of the stadium pending those additional documents in the passage of the agreement for next week. That way we know we've got the stadium set aside for Vikers use for the upcoming season. And some of those other schools that
what
would
you're
be.
saying is consistent with the agreement. And the
Correct.
agreement is in your box, and I do agree that it would be in order to be on this agenda, on your next agenda.
Okay.
But what you're saying is consistent with what's in the agreement, except for the repairs. There's nothing in there about repairs.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking, that we need to accompany it at least as soon as possible. Earliest opportunity.
You want the repairs to be in part of it.
Well, no, not that. I think that probably has to be separate because I don't think repairs are going to be a part of the agreement. I think that has to be.
We both agree that there'll be no repairs. There's no stipulation that you repair, except we'll repair it if we see fit, but we're not obligated to make any repairs to the board sheets. If we want something special, we may want to have to add that, do that themselves.
Okay, well, probably some two different motions. Okay. Well, that's right, Florence Chestnut will go up to do as well. Well, and that being the form of motion.
Second.
That's the problem.
Yeah, the second motion, Chair, in regards to the repairs and the funding that needs to be appropriated for the stadium, that the council would have a resolution requiring those funds come from the Alabama Trust Fund to the amount necessary, but also with the specifications on what those funds will be used for as far as upgrading the stadium, whether it be the press box, the bathrooms, the interiors of the stadium, or whatever they've actually gone out and assessed. It would be good to have those areas itemized, and so that we can determine exactly what's being fixed and have a record of it moving forward. So that to come back next week.
I was just going to clarify something there. Did you say move it from the other to the stadium, or are you saying that the stadium line already have that line in it?
The stadium line does not have that bond in it.
Okay, you want to move it?
I asked it for the be removed for capital improvement for the stadium, for the press box, and any other thing that needs to be done at the stadium, which is a very minimal amount, to get it prepared where we need to get it fixed for the upcoming season. And we feel very good that we can have it done with that amount. But we will be glad to bring you in other information. But as you know, time is limited. And we just continue to be tabled, don't know what to say. We agree that we did we support stuff and agree with stuff and then move on. But at this point, we're going through, as I put it this way, the carpet was taken up out of that today because there's mold in there, and a lot of that stuff will be, whatever. But I'm just gonna say that it's gonna come out of there. So we taking it all out of there anyway. Nothing. Do not feel bad. That table fell off. That was number table fell. Those tables fell down there.
I would like to ask another question to, does anyone know when the first football game occurred for Rider or any one of the other teams that you know that's scheduled?
From what I understand, the first game is going to be, they playing away for the Jamboree, they're playing away for the first game. The second game, they expect to be like, Free State.
You know when that's going to be?
I think that's the weekend before Labor Day. I don't know the exact date.
Definitely both high schools. Both high schools are out for first week.
I don't know about the floor. I'm just speaking about fire. But I did meet with the floor booth also the other day, and they was asking me what was wrong with Preacher Stadium, and I described to them what our plan was, what we were trying to do, get the stadium ready to be played, because we didn't get the agreement with the school board on last year, and they said they was interested in playing that. So we just need to get that ready to get it through, because some people might have to play on Friday night, some might have to play on Thursday, or Saturday they're playing at Preacher Stadium. Both can't play on the same night.
Let me just add that the agreement will provide that the city is allowing the school board to use the stadium for those days, nights when those three schools have a game, only on those days. And attached to it's not there now, so there will be a schedule of the game attached as an exhibit to the agreement. So, and those dates will automatically be reserved that on that schedule. That's that.
Okay, well, another question to the attorney here that I need to ask. Okay, I understand about Rider High School, okay, and you're talking about testing, and I know how to use it. But before high school, what we're talking to them, will they fall under the agreement that the people who set for the high schools as far as using the stadium for games?
They would have to.
They would have to pay that fee.
And they would have to pay the same, and they would have the same session and parking that they would have to set up for.
So there's never been a payment.
No, you're not there before.
No, none of them, neither of them were paid.
Neither of them was paid. They was, what it is, we have an agreement with them, with the Martin County.
Okay.
We use it as public safety.
So that takes to the high school.
And that, and really what we're charging for the stadium, $1,500, is really accumulating to where it's a wash, bottom line.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Now, the other thing that I
But now, the school will be responsible for paying the police officers and the fire people that be up. They will be responsible for that cost.
Okay.
That's not in the agreement. That's
Yeah.
external. Honestly.
Okay, that was the other thing that I was going to ask. And the only other thing, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to say, Mayor, to be honest with you, in order for us to move on and not get stuck in this thing, because it's exactly what's going to happen, let me just suggest to you, if I may, that what is being asked is for to bring something so that we can go on and pass it for next week, because it's not going to pass without the paperwork. We're going to get stuck. Therefore, we ought to delay things even further. So that's my recommendation, suggestion to you.
And I appreciate that, and I mentioned earlier that I will have that information.
Okay. Thank you.
Give you that information.
Thanks. Okay.
And that's one other issue.
Mr. Mayor, if you have a list of whatever it is that's going to be done with the repairs, whatever, if you get me, I'm going to prepare a ordinance or whatever to amend that move fund from capital improvement to stadium line. And if you have it, I'll attach that too to make that a part of it. So,
And if we wanted to maybe I should ask the council, what other areas of the stadium would you all like to be addressed, would like to have addressed?
Well, on our last assessment, which the last assessment is a couple of years old, it addressed the light pole, light fixtures, things in the bathrooms, things in the concession stand. So I think we need to really have a more current assessment done, so we'll know exactly where we are today. Because that assessment is old. But it mentions some small things that we can do as well as larger things. Really, we got a lot of loose rails that's out there at the stadium. I don't know if that's been repaired or not at this point, but it just needs to have another assessment.
So we will give the assessment. Is there anything else that you all as a council would like for to be addressed at the stadium while we're doing it?
I just think it needs to be a comprehensive review of all aspects of the stadium, man. And some things may take a priority over other things. Press box is a priority, the restrooms are a priority, concession stands are a priority. Those are the things you focus on first with the money, and then as the season progresses or after the season is over, then we put those additional funds to make sure that the stadium is 100% complete and ready for usage by whenever next year. So that was my whole point. $20,000, I figured that was nothing. That had just been just one small area. I'm sure there's some electrical upgrades. I'm sure things are out of code that need to be upgraded. That's got to be separate from the $20,000. So it needs to be a comprehensive review, bearing in mind we need to address the most expedient thing first so that we will be prepared by the first home game of the season. Whoever's going to play.
Alabama Trust don't have a comprehensive.
Well, I'm not asking you to spend all of that.
Mr. Chair, let me just say this to you, then, because actually things to draw this out in the manner that it is, and rhetoric and so forth. Whatever to me that would get the stadium ready for the school season, that to get them ready for to be on time and it's safe for them to go in. To me, that's what we're about, and that's priority. Now, anything else, I think the assessment can come as we go, but I think getting ready, so we won't disappoint the schools, we won't disappoint the schools. Thank you.
Now, Troy, the last assessment we had was around $300,000 price range, which included fixing the press box. But the only last thing I would like to say about Pritchard Stadium at this moment, I would like for us to revisit the idea of establishing a Pritchard Stadium board. And that board should only have one task, and that task would only be to promote Pritchard Stadium. I've been pushing it for years and just not been able to get enough support. So I would like for us to revisit, not a recreation board, but just a stadium board with one idea, and one idea only. And I would like to have consent from the council to start moving forward on trying to establish some type of resolution that we can bring forward to establish the stadium board. So we first, before we move, we all agree that yes, we do need a stadium board.
So, Mr. Chairman, that item is not on this agenda. What I would suggest to my colleagues that I don't have no problem with what you're saying, but I think that you should go on and talk with your attorney, get the necessary papers done, and place it on the agenda in the appropriate manner.
Let me have a correction. It is on the agenda because we are discussing the stadium. And Mayor Davis clearly asked if we had anything else that we wanted to address as it related to Pritchard Stadium. That was your question, right? So my comment is definitely in order when I talk about establishing a board for just the stadium. I only mention it because there's no need to move forward and put all the work into it, and we don't have consensus from the council that is the direction we want to move in. So if it is consensus and I'm getting noise, we will try to go ahead and move forward to at least bring that before everyone, so that we have time to think about it. So it is important.
Well, my thing is, Mr. Chairman, I was assuming that the mayor was talking about nailing, fixing, pasting, whatever, which does not mean a stadium board. To me, it's two separate things. I'm sorry, but someone can enlighten me different is what I'm thinking. But I'm thinking that you are saying preparing a stadium so that when football season comes, that it would be ready for them to do what they need to do and the children in school for now. Am I correct or am I wrong?
That, I was asking for this upcoming season.
And I still say, Mr. President, that should be, it's not a big, it's a separate matter, and it should be referred to get with their attorney, get the necessary papers done and put it on the agenda. That is what I think should be done. Now,
Mr. President, and they got one other item in reference to this. On this weekend, the Christian Baptist, I know y'all had some discussion, they're supposed to come to a meeting, that y'all had, finance committee meeting. And I told them, as far as I'm concerned, the stadium, I don't have a problem with playing the stadium, but that actually comes up under you all purview. You all have authorization to approve or reject when it comes to that stadium. That's the council's action. The only thing I was concerned about administratively, that they had the money to take care of the police and the fire security and necessary well-being of the employees that had to work there. That was my concern. So they are expected to be playing there this weekend. So what is the direction that we should take back to the Pritchard Falcons in reference to the stadium this weekend?
Pritchard Falcons was supposed to meet a finance committee meeting. No one showed up, nor did anyone leave any information or bring any information as to what they wanted or what they were proposing.
So I just need to know that they don't have the authority to be there this weekend.
No, it hasn't been granted because nobody knows what the Pritchard Falcons want or what they were proposing to the council, for the council to approve. Because I believe his name was Ruffin, because Ruffin, he did not show up at the meeting that was designated for the Pritchard Falcons, and after that, nor did he provide the council with any information as to what they would request. So I don't know what they were.
Judge, if the council just takes the motion that's there and then consent for the inquiry into the stadium board, and then if it pleases the council, you can request a consent to allow the Falcons to speak on that because they have come to the meeting since that has come up while we're still on. Now I would ask that we could just take those items in that order so that we can move forward.
Point of order, what's the motion?
But the city, Councilman, he's promoting that, a resolution be prepared that the funding comes, $20,000, funding comes from the Alabama Trust Fund, go to the recreation line item. That a comprehensive study be done, itemized listing of the problems that need to be taken care of, necessary. Let me get something yet.
Second.
In addition to the additional comments regarding the development of the stadium board, I don't think where that would be a problem. I think that probably may help looking forward more than just for recreation, but also in things that could be promoted or marketed through the stadium for additional revenue once the stadium is brought up to standard. So I would ask for consent that the attorney would consult with the council who has made the recommendation to come up with plans that the council could consider for potential stadium board with the assistance of the mayor's office as well. So I would ask for consent on that. Chair, please, council would amend the order so that we could allow at least the Falcons to speak in regards to their request and whether or not they are able to carry out their responsibility as far as using the stadium for their, I guess they have a game coming up. And I would consent to amend or suspend the motion to suspend or regular order for the sake of allowing the Pritchard Falcons to represent their issue.
Second.
Motion carries. Ms. Roberts. last one, and we'll please remove your hand. Thank you, sir.
I was told 2 separate dates about the financing, and the only person that I got in contact with during that week was Ms. Ward.
Mr. Ruffin, I don't know if you was in here when we first, but you need to make sure you give your name and your address, please.
Rico Ruffin, 1943 Grace Avenue, speaking on behalf of Christopher. I was told 2 separate dates when I came for the city council meeting that Thursday. Ms. Ward was the only person that I had contacts with, and she told me, I think it was the 27th, but it actually was the 26th. I came up here at 5 o'clock with all my paperwork and everything, and she told me that the meeting was Monday, but I came that Tuesday, and I didn't have any information to contact you, or Mayor Davis, or anybody else to see that I reschedule or anything. It's like it was thrown out after that, but I didn't have any info on the exact date, because I was told two that they would use at the city council.
But, Mr. Ruffin, you was here at the council meeting when the finance committee was established, the date and time was given from up here. And once the date and time is scheduled for a meeting from the council up here, no one can change that date and time unless it comes back before this council being approved. But you can always leave information for any council member. You can put it in a sealed envelope or however you want to do it and take it to the city clerk's office and it will get to the appropriate council member. But go ahead, do you have something in writing of what you really requesting or what you are proposing?
Not today, because he told me I just got off work and I came straight in.
Okay, Mr. Rhodes, sure I want to help us all with that. Is the event scheduled for this weekend? Or when is it scheduled? You already have another team that's supposed to be coming here to play with you.
Yes.
Now, where is this other team coming from? And what are you all prepared to pay to the city of Cleveland for using the venue?
That we didn't ever discuss it.
Okay. What are you proposing to do? Listen to me, I'm trying to help you out. What are you proposing to do?
We're proposing that they can get parking concessions, whatever they want to let us play at.
Who is that? You're talking about?
The council,
The city.
whoever they control it.
Okay, so at this point, you just want to be able to use the stadium. If the city gets the parking, the city gets to keep the parking, or we get to keep the concession, you're not going to be selling any kind of concessions or anything like that, right?
He sell concessions, but I'm saying that if that would balance it out to the payment that you're talking about, you are the concession.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, is it any kind of way you can work out for them to just have use of a field, or maybe a restroom? You have to pay for some police officers? Is there anything we can try to solve this problem tonight? I'm not concerned with what happened last week, 2 weeks. Let's solve this problem today so he would know what he needs to do with this team that's coming here from the water.
Yes, I told Mr. Ruffin, you all gave him the authority to utilize the stadium, then as long as he took care of police and the fire department, they had a party that was working, he would be we open the stage, let them play. And we have the personnel there.
Now, the person, how many people outside the police and the fire personnel, stadium personnel, you think we may need? Maybe two, and the amount of about how much?
I would say about $140 outside of what the police and fire department would do.
What's that estimate? What's that estimate?
$80 per person.
How many police officers you would need for the game?
I can't hear you.
How many police officers would you need for their game?
It depends upon the numbers, actually, is what we do the formula with. So I don't know the numbers. So.
Mr. Ruffin, about how many people attend your game? Okay. Let me just, can you have $500 up to the city tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow is Friday. That's the only day you got to take care of business. Will be tomorrow. how much do you think you can put into the city clerk hands tomorrow, Friday, before 5 o'clock?
Half of that,
You put in 250 tomorrow,
yes, ma'am.
and when will you be able to pay the other 250?
Saturday.
Mayor, we have anybody on staff to collect this 250 Saturday?
I would prefer to have everybody collect that on staff. I would just prefer that to the police and the fire department. Because if this was the state, then we have to do the clerk's office.
Okay.
The business that they do with the firemen and the police officer working, that's a personal contract that they have with me.
Can I get a commitment from you to have $300 at the city clerk office tomorrow? Between the four of y'all, y'all come up with $300 by tomorrow? Well, I'm trying to work out something for them, yeah. They're not gonna use press box, they're not using lights, you're not using lights, right? You aren't using lights.
This is that 19? And I don't know if you know, what the amount of things, maybe somebody else has better knowledge. To use the lights during the course of the game without the light was about $80.
James 37. Mr. Ruffin, we're trying to figure out, what you would actually need to pay so the city won't go in the hole. I truly want you to have the event. I really do. But you gotta have some money to work with. Maybe you all can go outside and think about it and come back in here and let us know, and we can revisit you at the end of the agenda. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we suspend this request and bring it back at the end of this, okay. You all go ahead and talk about it, and we'll take you up at the end of the meeting, okay? Thank you.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
This is Donna Ray Stringer, Friendship Baptist Church.
Don't Stringer, pastor, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, 220 on Tilson Street. Come to you, this evening, asking permission to close the street from 10 to 5 p.m. on Saturday, August the 4th, which is next Saturday. We're planning on having a fall festival and a fun day for the community. We have already talked with St. Joseph Street Church across the street from us, who allowed us to use the field. We can set up there. And what we want to do is block off the corner of St. Joseph and Bristol Street for the traffic won't run up and down. The only facility we're going to have to use is the restrooms in Friendship. So we're going to have your children and phone going across the street and everything. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And we're using this fall festival and fun day for a stepping stone to get more involved in the community. We want to start from the interstate there all the way back to the Pritchard Stadium and invite people to come out. We can get more involved in the community.
Did I understand you correctly when you said block off Bristol Avenue?
No, North Joseph Street. That's at the corner.
At the corner?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay.
At the corner right there, Raceway and Wilson.
I would recommend, Mr. President, that we block it off at Lucky Way too, so you have a block between
Yes.
Lucky Way
Oh, yes.
and Worcester Street. And we're gonna have maybe 3 houses that's in that area. So I make sure that, and one of those houses is vacant, 2 of those houses are vacant. So there's only 1 person, so I would make a motion and recommendation if we can get some barricades. We probably only need 2 barricades one on the corner of Worcester and North Joseph, and the other one on the corner of North Joseph and Lucky Way.
Mr. You, Mr. Stringer? Yes. Okay. I just wanted to ask you, have you talked with the police department as far as looking at it? Because that's the norm, that they will go out, look at it, and make sure that it won't cause any problem for you or for anyone else in the community. So have, Chief Texas investigator, let it, do you know about this class?
No, it would have been on the chief's desk.
Okay. That's what I was saying, that's the norm as a police will look at it, make sure everything is okay, that it won't cause a problem for anyone. That's the first job. I guess I'll have to ask that when he comes back. I have no problem with you getting it blocked off. That's what usually is done.
I understand your concern, but I already talked to the people who live in the community there, and everybody's good. So I don't think it's going to cause a problem. Not as my knowledge of it. But if you insist that we have them come out and look at it, it's on.
As I was saying, I am okay with what you want to do. I just said there's no wrong with the police department usually go out, look at it so they make sure that it's okay. And then also for a matter of records, in case anything happens. Okay, I understand. But I'm for what you're doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So how do I do this?
I think the general concern is we should move barricades out there so in case of an emergency that they can be moved so people can come out. Even though that you might have a situation where everybody agrees in the community,
Yes.
you never know what may happen. Emergency vehicles need to get in and out, and we just need to make sure that everybody knows that there's a certain portion that needs to stay available for emergency vehicles to be able to come in and out. That's the point. That's why we talk about the difference with the law enforcement first aid. I mean, it's really not a real big deal. Everybody just need to have that understanding.
I have a motion on the floor.
Is that second to the motion, Chairman? Second.
Tomorrow you can get with the chief. Tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's your vote.
We got a representative from the, I sure did, Municipal Park Youth Football Program.
Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Cornelia Turner. I'm sorry, Taylor. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with Cornelia Turner.
Yeah, I have a new name.
I'm saying, I always call you Turner, I don't know why. Yeah, just go.
I'm Cornelia Taylor, 63 Grove Avenue, Pritchard, Alabama. I'm in the District 3 area, Constable Navarro Jones. I have a great concern. I've been in Pritchard for a while, and I'm trying to keep this down to a 3-minute time. But I've been in Pritchard for quite a while, and one of my loves for Pritchard is the ground. The rich ground they have and how it's able to grow. Not only grow beautiful green grass and beautiful tall trees, but there, if you look around and really stroll the city, you'll find yourself coming across a lot of fruit trees and other wonderful things that is hard to grow in other areas. Well, I've developed a love, so I also became a volunteer for the Urban Forestry Green Space Advisory Board that's out here in Pritchard, because I began to have a love for nature. Not only is we ought to have love for nature, because nature loves us. It's important for us to know about our natural resources. And one thing about Pritchard, we have been blessed as a city, because we're not just a city that sits with everybody's eyes on us. we have became important enough or good enough to become a tree city. That is not something lightly to sit on. That is not something that's thrown to you out of a Cracker Jack box. You earn it. And in becoming a tree city, you become known as a person, as people who care about their resources and their environment. I'm leading up to this because when we was in the process of our Arbor Day program, we took advantage because we are looked at as groups that not only take a special day out of the year to come together and call it an Arbor Day to celebrate a tree city, but we're individuals that show that we're a city that care about our environment and the beauty of it. So we take it upon, and we don't take this lightly. We are very sincere about being aboard. So before we even touch the ground, we call to our individuals who we're in relationship to, and that's the NRCS, the Natural Resource Conservationist Service. And our district conservationist came out, Joyce Nichols, along with one of her forest agents, Tim. One thing when we went to the site that we wanted them to recognize and look and give us advice on, one thing that they really admired about the city of Pritchard were their crepe myrtles. That they truly had crepe myrtles and not crepe murder. Murder, M-U-R-D-E-R. And right now, at this time, I'm really standing hard and trying to get everything out of me without coming too emotional, because that's what we have became, crepe murderers. Normally, I'm a rider. I don't drive. But that gives me an opportunity to look over. I have a habit of looking over at the city, in spite of the discrepancies. I look down at it from the interstate and try to see where we at and where we going, and look where we at. And one thing lately, after April, I noticed that the crepe myrtles over by the bus hub was getting beautiful. You know why? Because Councilwoman Young and her work crew went out there for 3 weeks after we gave them the advice from Nichols and them and showed us how to prune those trees. You only remove the feeders. You don't mess with the branches. I don't know, and they don't know where people get off of topping off the crepe myrtles, but you're not helping the tree. You're stressing out the tree. Now, they went and removed the feeders because the feeders feed on the sap. And it causes the tree to have to stress out in competition with the feeders. So once you remove the feeders, the sap is free to float onto the tree. And that's just what was happening. By July, late June, early July, those crepe myrtles was beautiful from the interstate. That area was gorgeous. Pritchard looked like progress. It actually brought people mind to see that bus hub and wonder what it was. But the trees did. So this particular day, for 2 weeks, I hadn't got up on that interstate and traveled that far and looked down the city. So my sister and I was traveling to Main Street, and she drove around that area from Wilson up into Lovejoy Loop. And when I turned that corner, and I saw what I saw, not only did my heart fall, not only did I cry, because I literally cried, because I could actually hear the sounds of those trees sounding like they was in a slaughterhouse. I'm hurt. I'm disappointed at this time. And yes, I took a further action because I contacted the NRCS because I needed to know whether or not those trees was alive. Did they stand a chance? And how much chance do they have to survive? Well, they sent the agent, the forest agent out, both Broback, and we looked at them. Said they will live, they will struggle, but they will bloom. It's going to take a while for them to come back, but we are going to have to pamper them. Because when they come back, right now, they was cut in the wrong season, if they call it that got to them. Because now the sap is high, and the sap is up. And if you don't believe it, go out there and look at the trees, you can see it dripping. So it's just like someone took your arm, took you up, and cut your arm in the prime of your life. You gonna bleed. Well, those trees are bleeding. And And that's not a good thing for the environment or you. Because you know what, that sap can also bring in bee bugs and other unwanted things. The trees are important to us. They keep us from getting out. We walk around and bring out carbon dioxide. They breathe our oxygen. They help us live. Why we're so quick to destroy them all the time? Why we're so quick to always cutting them down? Don't pamper them. Right now, where 2 or 3 of those trees was cut down about 5 years ago, they really need to be put to death because they are great in discoloration, and what they're doing is sit up, they're stressed out, and they're dead. And they're carrying mold, which is not good for us. Now, I just asked, I heard, and even when those trees develop these, because what they're going to develop is new feeders at the top of them out of their box. We're going to have to go there and wait until the feeders get strong enough and take one of the strongest feeders that goes up, because the crepe myrtle grows up, what you're going to cause it to go wide, but it's not going to be a healthy wide. So we got to take one of those feeders and nurse them to become a straight full tree. But me, myself, I'm curious. I would like to know who gave this demand, this order, this mandatory emergency order to cut those trees, and why?
Are you cool with sale? Thank you.
But at this time, you don't have a question to be answered? Who gave this command and why?
I just have a comment.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And it's good to see the citizens that are really compassionate about the hard labor that you have put into those trees. And I wish that we had more citizens like you here. So I appreciate you coming to speak to us. Thank you.
And once that, and the rest of the mayor or the future mayor or wherever we get now, if by chance you want your people to be trained in pruning, they're offering the classes. They will come out and give a class for that. All you have to do is get in touch with them and schedule.
I would say, I don't know why they cut like that, because I was experienced, I know there was supposed to be some trimming going on. I don't know why they was cut like that, because Councilwoman Evans, before any of you all was around talking about doing anything with Tree City, Councilwoman Evans came to me and said that she started a Tree City USA. And I agreed to it, and we started moving forward. She's the first one that started moving these crepe myrtle and land planters, Anton and everywhere else. She was doing that. And you go down and watch. She was doing it. This has been going on over and over again for years, back when it was first established. So one thing I'm saying is, I don't think that we, while you're coming across that so passionate, the passion was already there. Now, if there was a mistake that was done, we need to correct it. And we can correct it, but we can't do nothing about it now. Because I was disturbed too. So I want you to know where this really started from some years ago.
May I address you now? Regardless of who formed it, why was it formed? Because if it was so passionate that she formed this UFGAB, then it was not just for a short memory of some Arbor Day or anything. Anything dealing with your trees. And that's the Urban Forestry Green Space Advisory Board. Anything that is to be done with the trees and cutting of this city, they supposed to respect that board enough to come and ask. See, what's available for them in research before they touch anything out here dealing with landscape. And that's what's up. So first you need to learn about what UFGAB is. Not only your administration, but the city, people, the residents of the city. Because a lot of people at this point with that decision out there, a lot of people was dishonored.
Thank you, Ms. Sale.
he had, he was in Florida and he was not able to make it, but he asked me to speak on his behalf, and I think Mr. Brown is here also. But what he wants to do is, every year, I think it is, they give the children in the community, they give out school supplies, and what he want to do also is block off the area. And I don't know if you've already spoken to the chief about it, Mr. Bruce, about it. But he wants to block off the area. I think it's going to be Chandler and Troy. And he wants to go like, the church is on Chandler, and he wants to go 500 feet to the left, to going towards, I think that's gonna be okay, and then he want to go 500 feet, and then Troy Street, he wants to block part of that off. And since he haven't talked with the chief, it's for the children, and it's for their, I don't think they would have a problem, because I think they do it every year, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think they would have a problem with, the CFA. If you want to take it off.
Mr. Chairman, at the absent, Ms. Jones, Mr. Wood came up, and just so happened I was in the hallway. And he is representing Annandale Baptist Church, and he was supposed to have gone, following filling out the form. He was supposed to have gone to the apartment. I know he is that way, so I don't know whether or not they can see that.
Ms. Brown, do you have anything?
Yes, sir. We are doing a back to school dash, and we did it last year, and I'm sorry that it's so late, but I wasn't in charge of it this time. The area where we're going to want to block off from Rana to Channel Street is a very short area, and there's no houses there. That's right next to the parking lot. And about 500 feet each way from each side of the church. There's only one house that's going to be involved in that area that we will be covering, and we have permission from them. And I don't know if Jimmy got a chance to come and do this or not, but we have one on file from last year. It's going to be the same exact thing for what we did last year. And I would appreciate if you guys would consider letting us have it, and I'm sorry it's last minute.
Chief? Could you look at it?
And I would agree with the fact that we have supported the and
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve this request and also for the chief of police to get this, to make sure that it's okay. Thank you very much.
What are the dates? The dates and times?
Saturdays.
This Saturday? This
It's on
Saturday?
Saturday. I apologize for it being so late. And the time is going to be from 10 to 2, but we want to block it off like from like 9 to 3 to keep the kids in and out.
Also, Mr. Chairman, I did tell you to make sure that he contacts them, but he should have already done that, but you need to check with him about the very.
Yes, ma'am, I sure will.
Do we have a second?
You have a second, Jim.
Pass the roll, please. Congratulations, second is on.
Item for discussion, I need a motion on a resolution creating the Citizen Financial Advisory Committee of the City of Pritchard, Alabama.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, let me just make my statement now. And I am not in support of this, and my reason being it can be made a matter of record is it has always been, as far as anyone who wants to work with the finance department has had the opportunity without having to go to administration, but work directly with Mr. Rex. Secondly, I have not yet seen a committee that was formed in this particular city that has worked without chaos. Therefore, I cannot afford to support this. Thank you.
Yeah,
Make your motion.
I
I don't think it would be a committee that would create a form of bureaucracy that would impede what the council's responsibility is as far as its financial. Committee responsibilities are already in place. If anything, to give the citizens an opportunity to offer input, preferably those members who would have knowledge and background and experience in dealing with matters of finance and economics. So if there's a committee that can be formed of the citizens, about appointment of the council or mayor, that would be conducive towards offering any further advice, any suggestions as to how we govern and handle our finances. I don't see it being a hindrance to what we do or where we are currently. So I would support it.
Councilor Scoggin, I brought this forward last week just to have the opportunity to get citizens more involved in city government. I didn't know if Ms. Young had any questions. Ms. Elvis said last week she was not going to support it. So we did table it to give you the opportunity to see, but it is an advisory board. They give you an opportunity to find someone in your district that may have a background in finance or someone that's interested, and bring them on board as a third eye, so they can watch and give suggestions and ideas of what we do here in the city. And they will also have an opportunity to take and tell good things that's going on in the city financially as well. So that's the only reason I brought the resolution forward, is to just find ways to get citizens more involved in what we're doing here. It's not complicated.
My question is, who would it be advised?
They would be advising the city council. They would be interchanging in ideas with the finance committee, which is the city council. They're no different than the Green Tree Advisory Board. They are advisory, like Ms. Taylor just said. They could have advised with the board to see how to cut those trees. So we may have citizens in the city of Pritchard that may be very knowledgeable in finance. And this is a way to reach out to those citizens. At least we can try it before we knock it, because we'll never know if it's going to work unless we try.
Mr. Chair, let me just say this. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
The only problem that I have with it, I don't know if some of this stuff that this advisory board would be getting hold to, they are to take it back into the community, but a lot of times they may not take it back out right. And if it's not right, then it can come back and it'll cause confusion with us. Because the people on the outside are listening to them as well as they'll be listening to us, because we'll be putting them in a position where they can go back and say something. So I'm not against it, but I think that we can cause a lot of problems with it if it's not, if it's not exactly, a good, strong set of people. They got to be very strong and very strong-minded and know something about this, whereas they won't go out and just scatter everything. But it's good. That's the only problem that I see that you may have to face if someone go out there and give wrong information. I mean, we got to turn around and try to straighten it up. And now, by them being the advisory board, they're advising us. Is that because we're having a problem and we can't get it together, and we need them to help us get it together? Or
No, not an advisory as in that capacity. Not advising us, but they may see something that we don't see. This may be an area that they do every day. And we do once a year when we talk about the finance community. But I do agree with you, people can take wrong information. They also can take right information. But what I'm saying is before we knock it and kill it, let's see if we can give it a try to see if it works. Because this is an area that we've never done before. So just because we've never done it before, doesn't mean that we shouldn't at least try it. And you would have a person, and you would be able to communicate with that person as well. And if this person is a professional in that area, they may be able to tell you something that you didn't know. I'm amenable and open to that. If I find someone in my district that's very familiar with financial procedures, and they can look at the documents that I'm looking at and we can discuss it, that's gonna make me better at my job. So I'm just asking for support to see, let us start trying something different, because what we're doing has support.
well, I'm one that kind of thinks out of the box, and I have no problem with that, but I just thought that I would bring that out as well. And I mentioned it could see a problem with it and it's not working, I bet you we can always dissolve it.
And then you have too, the person that you may ask to get involved may decide they don't really want to be involved with it. So in the resolution, I think number 3, under B, is asking them to reaffirm their commitment once a year. Because they may get involved in something, hey, I don't want to be involved with this, and they want to get out. So they have an opportunity every year to reaffirm that they want to be a part of it. And at the same time, if the council feels that this is not a good organization, it's not good, we can disband it at any time. This is not like the water board, once you appoint them, they're forever. It's not that type of situation. This is a situation where the click of 3 votes, we can get rid of them just like that. But let's try and see if we can make it work first. And that's the whole point.
The only thing I see is the timing of it. You know, we're in the last few months of this term, and now we're bringing forth something. Why we got to put politics and things, you know, why we can't just go straight up and we haven't had a committee, and we have worked through some years we didn't pass the budget, some we did, but we have moved, and so I have no problem with a committee. I have a problem with the timing, so why not wait till after January next year? And not be in such a rush to form a committee now. Let's actually put some thoughts and some study and some salt with different people in the financial area to come up with some guidelines and everything before we just go put something in place. That's the only problem I have. I have a problem with the timing and the politics in it. You know, and sometimes we need to look at just moving forward to move the city forward and not looking at politics.
Would you like me to respond? It may be a possibility, Mr. Town, even if we pass this resolution now, people may not be appointed until next month or the month after. And I remind you, you are a politician, and everything we do is politics. But this is not an overtone to be pulled one way or the other. We are setting the groundwork for whomever may become an elected official in the city of Pritchard. We're actually empowering them more too. Even though I understand what you're saying, we made appointments last week. We got appointments on the agenda tonight. If we took that same approach that you're asking, we want to appoint these 2 people that Ms. Edwards is asking us to appoint to this board. So I'm just saying, really, the appointment's probably not going to take place in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But we can go ahead and pass this, so the council people that's up here and elected officials and candidates are running, they know that we have this board in place, and as they're out there meeting people, they need to write these names down, as this is the person they would like to get involved and know what's going on in the city of Pritchard. Because most of our citizens, probably about 90% of our citizens, don't have a clue what's going on. So we want to empower them. And that's why I brought this resolution forward. If you don't want to make your appointment to January, that's you. But I don't think the rest of the council people that may want to bring a person on board should have to wait because you're not ready to make an appointment.
Mr. President, I would also like to recommend that if you're going to be putting these committees in place, if you really need an advisory committee over the pension and people pension board, but they don't want to really need some advisors for actuaries and people that need to deal with the issues. So while we at it, and we got council members on the pension board, I think that would be the approach that they really need to have some advisors. If you want to have a financial advisor, it need not just be one aspect of the city, but all aspects. So I think the pension board need to show enough people there.
I agree with you. I know that it needs to be. It's not before us today, but I do agree with you 100%. Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution establishing the Citizen Financial Advisory Committee.
Second. Thank you, Carl. Motion carries.
Thank you.
I need a motion upon correspondence of Mayor Davis to appoint Linda H. Fitz and Sharon H. McIntosh to the Pritchard Historic Commission.
Are we supposed to wait for January meetings? I'm just joking. Motion to approve.
I need a motion on the correspondence from Councilman Eagle regarding District 4 concerns.
Chairman, motion forward to the mayor's office and have a response back before the council next week on the city's plan of action.
Second.
Next roll, please. Motion carries.
I need a motion on the resolution declaring certain buildings or structures to be public nuisance in order to their demolition under City Order 1912, and for the record, those property are 1617 Annette Avenue, 1704 Annette Avenue, 806 Branch Avenue, 214 Bronner Street, 1620 Douglas Heads Avenue, 127 Chandler Street, 57 Clarence Avenue, 1309 Craft Highway, 1511 Craft Highway, 817 First Avenue, 917 Gerhardt Avenue, 919 H Avenue, 1010 Orange Street, 1020 Orange Street, 218 Patricia Avenue, 330 Catane Street, 715 St. Stephen's Road, 1223 Thomas Avenue, 224 Whistler Street, and 302 Whistler Street.
Next roll, please. Motion carries.
Okay, all the, Falcons, are you all ready?
Mr. President, I'd like to have permission to stall our left off. Okay, what did you all come up with?
We are able to pay for 4 police officers, 2 firefighters, and 2 employees that the city was seeing with a total of about 520. We were asked at the city to take into consideration that we use grass, clean bathrooms, locker rooms, and we have to buy materials to do that, and we have to buy the paint tomorrow. And we all do that amongst ourselves. And we asked that the city take that into consideration, and y'all will get parking outside of us paying the officers, the fire department, and the 2 employees that y'all was seeing. And we will try to come take a team guard at the end of the day and keep from cutting the lights.
Very good, very good. I don't have any other questions.
I have a question.
Councilwoman Young.
If you is not able to do it in the daytime, then what would you do? Because they may not agree to date, they may get on the come that night. So what will you do about that? Because the night is still picking up. How would you handle it?
Yeah.
How would you handle that?
I mean, I could call them, like I said, ask them if they can't, they probably just have to cancel them.
When were they planning on getting yours anyway?
Yeah.
When were they planning on getting yours?
They said they would be able to ride on 5:35, 45.
On Friday, they was coming Saturday.
Saturday. Can I say something? As far as the lights or whatever, if I was able to out of pocket pay for that, I would, just to know that, you know, I provided something for them to do positive in the community. I would pay it out of pocket without a problem. I'm not able to pay it. You know, it's like the minority of things that we have going on positive, we just don't have support. Like if I didn't have to come here and get on the agenda, you all would never heard of the first guys. You know, it's like I don't have help market. They'll tell you everything that goes on for the team. I have to get out of work and try to do it myself. Friday evenings, I have to get out of work, beg somebody for a lawn or go cut their grass alone. Beg somebody to go pick the paint up while I'm cutting the grass and mark the field alone. It's just, if I was able to pay for those lights and all that stuff that y'all asking, I would. It's just I'm not able to.
Mayor, if you think it's any way possible that if in the event that they have to pay it, I think they need to have a clear, precise direction when they leave here tonight. Is it any kind of way, I've given them all my discretion in front of me, is it any kind of way that if the bill come up to $800, if it does, that we will be able to carry that bill at least to October 1?
You say that again.
If at all, we have covered $800 of lights, then we're just guessing. We don't really know how much the lights is gonna cost for the 3 hours. Is it a way that, because we're already paying the stadium bill already, so we don't know how much it's gonna cost. How much?
The lights are already left, so we would cut the lights, so that's all.
Okay.
If you want to choose it, I got no problem.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I'll.
Mr. Ruffin, do you have any literature or any advertising that you do? Do you do any advertising of the games?
Yes, sir.
How do you do it?
I take flyers, I pass out flyers, I do little text.
Do you put the city of Pritchard on those flyers?
Yes, sir.
Do you let the people know that the city of Pritchard is helping with youth development?
Yes, sir.
Hoping to develop youth in the city of Pritchard?
Yes, sir.
Sure?
Yes. I have some flyers at the house actually that I can run for. Everything that we do for us advertising is well documented. It's for the community and the young people.
In other words, part of what the reason the council may be about to allow you to use the stadium without charge, as they're doing at this point, is that in exchange for using the stadium, you are going to promote the city of Pritchard and the city's youth development actively on your literature and your engagements with the community. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You got to have some evidence of doing that in the city clerk's office by tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Along with your 520.
Yes, sir. 250.
And then you not say that you would also, I'm sorry, then you not also say that you and your players would also lecture to the youth in the city of Pritchard? Then you not also say that you and your group would lecture to the youth in the city of Pritchard about anti-violence and things, anti-crime and things like that?
Yes, we can do that.
Only thing I have to say, you're not storing the tree.
This is a good thing. Why
If we could, due to the question that the councilwoman asked, like, and Richard did, and they are budget, and there's no funding issue, if they can take care of the personnel, I think it'd be nice if they
And we are also, if I may, we are allowing, we will complete that department, that the city will retain rights of parking and the gate. You do the gate? Parking. So that the city can offset.
And I think, what is y'all's next game?
Now, you all gonna do this, you don't need to go out, go in the back outside there and do consulting.
This Saturday and the following.
Next Saturday, meet some of the demands that have been requested, that you move forward and pay some of those financial obligations. By the next year. Yes, and I think Councilwoman Martin Harris was saying the $500. It will give you time to, I guess, navigate, generate your profit and earn some money. Maybe take out a loan, I don't know. But I think we're there with what she's saying. I think he's trying to make sure that the city actually reach some benefit for any such state.
Absolutely.
That's what I was saying for parking, like they can have parking there. The only reason why I said I was asking for us to keep engaged because we have to pay the officials and the time that I operate.
But the city has parking.
Yes, sir.
The city at this point is deeming parking. They'll discover later whether or not that's the deal or not. But right now, the city is deeming the parking to be its right. And that's part of the consideration for a lot of people.
That's fine.
I need to ask you, attorney, then, and I don't understand what you all are trying to do, but I just want to ask the attorney that, we okay this, but we have to have a public purpose document. Because if you look at how this is going to, how you describe it, that it is a public purpose. That is involved in it, so I suggest you have, Victoria.
And you're going to declare it, so I'm
Thank
going
you.
to do it in the form of
Thank you,
motion.
thank you. So therefore, the motion should be that we okay it with the understanding of the public purpose.
You are authorizing the use without, in return, the city will retain the parking. And Richard Falcon will promote the city. All of this delivered to fairly. And in addition, provide anti-crime. What do you say? Anti-crime, anti-drugs, anti-violence, lectures, youth in the city of Richmond for a 1 month period. Commencing Saturday.
Now speak on what the attorney said. Sendiri Martin, they played for the Tennessee Titans, just had a camp about a month ago, and we went to the camp, and it was like 600 kids there. And we were the ones speaking on second chances, like if you don't have academics or college or the NFL, it's not over. Like you don't have to give up on your dream of playing football. You know, that's
Second chance lectures. Second chance.
Okay, but, the amount of fees that you're supposed to pay tomorrow, $520 tomorrow. Not 200, you're supposed to pay $520 tomorrow. The police officer. Oh, okay, just wait. Did you get, this one came out? Second.
Yes, we ask that, you know when your season starts, you know your game. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till the last minute. You know what you need. Then if you come to the council we have an opportunity to try to work with you. But when you come to the last minute, and like we had council members come here waiting on finance committee for an hour and a half and you didn't show up. Nor did you call or try to reschedule, or did you leave any information? And so we asked you if you need to use the stadium. I'm sure you have a schedule for this year, for the season, for the family. So you need to come ahead of time and be prepared, and should have in writing, the dates and the time of the games and everything. And then we have an opportunity to work with you. But when you come at the last minute, you make it difficult. Thank you.
I have information.
Need help now.
I didn't hear you.
Thank you.
This is item council conference. I need a motion to approve the minutes of July 19, 2012, with necessary corrections.
We have a second. Pass it on, please.
Mayor Davis, do you have a report? Any committee reports, announcements?
I'd just like to thank the council for helping me pass the resolution. I really appreciate it.
Motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry, the only thing, Mr. Chairman, that I want you to know, Mayor, to let this audience know, and this council know, that I have had a problem in certain areas in my district for so long, it's just absolutely horrible. And I want to thank Chief Gardner, Special Investigator Lake, I got it right, all of them that solved this problem for me and kept the doors of this problem for me. So I want to thank you. I do want to thank you. Thank you so much.
I just put my